agenda makes this look like a longer meeting than it actually is, because I don't have anything really to say about most of these items, although we could probably sort out that committee issue if I just go back.
Yeah, I think, I know we had a couple of people respond during our email back and forth, but I just think maybe getting an idea of where we are.
Yeah, and I think we want
So,
to have an opportunity for an executive session to chat through some of that. Kirsten, do you know who our sixth was?
Aisha said she will not be attending. She's unable to make the meeting. She doesn't need.
So are we not waiting for anyone then?
I thought that we had 8 who said they would be able to make it. So
Okay.
let me just double check. Let me look at the list. Hang on 1 second.
Melvin said, Mel said he'd be able to be there. Melvin said Kaisha. Andrew also said he was available. So the two we're waiting on are Melvin and
Thank you.
Andrew.
Okay. And is there anyone from the public watching, Kirsten? Can you tell?
Let me just pull it back up 1 second. And usually I can tell, yes. Two people.
Okay. Well, we welcome whoever's watching.
Oh, we got no.
Marisol, did you just say we have Mel?
No.
Oh, okay, sorry. All right, so,
No.
'cause my phone is dead, but if anyone can text either Mel or Andrew, maybe we can get
Hold on. Hold on. There's really not much we can do right now while we're waiting, correct?
I don't know. I mean, I think we probably need a quorum to vote to go into executive session, which is probably where we'd want to spend our time. I mean, I think we can kind of rattle through some of the other things that don't require a vote, though, just to make the
Why
time
don't we
a
do that?
little more useful.
Yeah, let's see if we can get through, let's see if we can then get through, the committees and who we have where right now, if that's possible.
Yeah, I was just looking through that. So for the visioning committee, we have Ben, Marisol, Andrew, Kaisha had volunteered. I'm happy to do that as well. That would be 5. I think we can, go with that. I don't know that a specific vote is needed to populate the committee. If so, we can't do it. But Marisol, I think you had maybe I'm volunteering you, but I thought you might have volunteered to chair that, and you could probably get these folks together to start on that. So that would be
Can you rattle them off again for me?
yeah. So Ben, Andrew, Kaisha, and me, as well as you.
Tag, does that, I know you sort of hope that we like hit one person from each of our supposed like expertise
Oh, good
boxes.
point.
Does that grouping do that? Because I think that's,
It's
yeah,
actually not bad. We've got impacted, we've got medical, we've got mental health, and between Andrew and I think we don't have. It probably would be better to have Scott or John or something as well on the correction side, so we don't have to close the door. We can see if either of those guys might be willing, and then I think we would have everything covered. We don't. Nobody volunteered for the funding committee, which is probably understandable. Other than Marisol, I should say, who volunteered for both.
Yeah, and that's not so much that that's the area I'd like to be in.
Right.
But,
yeah.
we can also volunteer people.
I was going to volunteer Mel to be on that committee because I think he's
that's
plugged in a little bit.
Yep.
And possibly Scott as well is plugged in a little bit, but obviously I don't want to pull him in two directions if he's going to be on visioning. So, that one I think we can. Anybody else have? Do you guys know folks? I don't have a sense of who has, their thumb on what's happening in Hartford. Daryl, you might. But if Mel is the one who came to mind for me, but if there's others that we can, designate for this without them having a say, then.
Can we get funding from other places too, like BJA
Yep.
and stuff like
I think
that?
so. I think that would be part of it. Yeah. I mean, right now, while we have the session open, if there's any opportunities to twist arms or lobby, we'd want to know about that. But then, going forward, I think it's legislature each year or each opportunity, but also private fundraising, grant writing, et cetera.
Right.
And
I
I
was thinking that because that's something also. I'm sorry, but I didn't mean to cut you off. I was
No.
going to say that. And whoever is in that role needs to be able to know that too, like whether it be from a fundraising perspective, but keeping it. I mean, there's a lot of criminal justice reform dollars out there, and I've seen some talk about ombudsman in other states. So being able to know that those are the places to tap in. My only thing is, and I'm not really sure how that works with because it's not a nonprofit, and is it considered a state agency? Do they need to go through? Those are the conversations we would have to, like, is there a pastor or something like that? Would they, like a nonprofit, have to get the funds and then issue them out because it's state, you know what I mean? Just
So
curious.
Daryl, to kind of hit up on your point there, I think you're absolutely right. But I think another route we could possibly go is through the Office of Justice, because I know I've been seeing a lot of funding opportunity that deals with the state agencies, and especially this being something along those lines, that there's a lot of live and active grants coming from federal that they're looking for state partners. Andrew's joining us now, so.
Great.
Yeah, no, I think that's exactly right, Marisol. BJA or OJP, I mean, but those are both obviously DOJ sort of entities, I think would be reasonable. I think they can fund state entities. I mean, they do. Whether if we want to look into private foundations like, I don't know, Arnold Ventures or something like that, that might be a wholly different conversation because they do a lot of work in the criminal legal area and reform. But I have 100%, and that came up in the hearing. I think Attorney Krajewski brought it up about BJ, and I think that's a great idea.
Right. Okay.
Hey,
All right.
Andrew, quick question.
Hey.
We need another body on financial committee. Are you game?
You're already on visioning though too, unless you
I'm not
want
Yeah.
to jump off of that.
That's more up my alley.
Okay, that's fair. I'm just trying to get more bodies so we have a level playing field.
Well, is financing? It's not like a finance committee where I'm in track of our finance. It's more like a lobbying committee, right?
Pretty
Yeah, you
much.
can put me down.
Okay.
That's fine.
All right, T, you want to start us off?
Start us off on, sorry, now that we have 6, you
We
mean?
have a quorum now, yeah.
Okay, yeah,
Yeah.
so just before we do, we will move into executive session. All right, so we've, forget the remarks, I guess we've convened. We've just talked about the committee assignments. We could vote to establish those. So we have 2 committees that we've established: visioning, fundraising, or finance. The first will be, the visioning committee will consist of Ben Powell, Marisol Garcia, who will chair, Andrew Gearing, Ty Dooley, and then for now, and we're going to see if either Scott or John Sapoli can round us out as they would represent the expertise in corrections category. So can we, I don't know if we need to, but can we just move that be the committee?
Yeah, I moved that.
Okay, second?
Second.
Rena seconds. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Okay, so that's the committee. It's the door's not closed, and anybody can participate. But that's the folks who will be trying to schedule meetings with. Funding would be, I think we have Marisol, Andrew, and we're going to nominate Mel in his absence to be the third core member of that committee. Any motion?
I move to
Okay.
name
I'll
that.
jump before we vote. I'll just
Yeah.
jump into that. But I think that for me, I mean, I'll attend any of those, whether I'm a voted member or not. But I was just thinking that if that funding group also could be like, say, if it was the law library idea or ways to get funding for other, not just for the role, but for funding for purpose.
Yeah, I think it's right. So obviously the immediate concern will be finding money for the office to get off the ground, but then I think it's mainly going to be the members of this committee that assist the ombuds with matters that require money, right? So that could include any new initiative that the ombuds proposes or that we suggest, right? And I think that would all fall into that under that purview. But to Andrew's point, it's not. We don't have a budget. You know, we don't have a finance committee, nor do we need one. So it's not that kind of committee. So we had a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Okay, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? No. Okay, so that's that group, and hopefully Mel will agree. So that's the committee assignments. Obviously, we can revisit that going forward. We could have a governance committee that thinks about other subcommittees that we might want once we're kind of more on the, on a regular path. But those 2 struck us in the last meeting as kind of particularly important to get up and running now. So the update on appropriations, I have none other than that it was not increased. I did after, I think at 2 different points, I've been texting with Johnny Dack, who's the governor's chief of staff. That began obviously before the hearing. And, I asked him whether there's going to be an increase in appropriations, and he said, no, it's the same proposal. The session is still open. I don't have any other update or ideas about what we can do at this point, but I just thought we'd have it on the agenda in case anybody else did. So it's something when we first meet, this funding committee can try to think about that and think if there's anything to be done. Obviously, we can discuss this more when we move into executive session, but there's possible. It appears as though, and this can kind of move into number 5 here, an update on the nomination of Hillary Carpenter, that, well, let me just give you what I know about that. So that is still pending. The Executive and Legislative Nominations Committee, as I think you all know, made an unfavorable recommendation. A tie vote went down as unfavorable, but that doesn't kill the nomination necessarily. It still must, if this committee nevertheless reports it out to the full assembly, then there'd be a vote there, and there could still be a vote to approve the nomination or to reject the nomination. I understand that this committee met twice. I believe they meet on Tuesdays and Thursdays. They did not take it up again last week. They'll be meeting tomorrow. I don't know if it's on the agenda for tomorrow, but I had heard Thursday the 27th it may come up again. So that's the only update I have. I have heard indirectly that Ms. Carpenter is staying in. She could withdraw would be the other option, right? There's vote up, vote down, or withdraw. It does not sound as though she's withdrawing. And this is only things I've heard indirectly that the governor's hope is that he'll find the votes in the General Assembly. And I'm not connected to the process to have any prediction about that. But it does, in terms of appropriations, and this is something that maybe the funding committee could think about as well, maybe if this comes down to some, politics, right? Perhaps there's opportunities to sweeten the deal, so to speak, for certain legislators who have expressed doubts by increasing the funding of the office. And I don't know if that's of interest to the committee, but it could be on the radar of that fundraising committee.
I have a couple technical questions just because I don't know the answer. If she were brought up for a vote in the General Assembly, which chamber would that go to, and would it be just a simple majority in both chambers?
As I understand it, I think it begins in the House, but it has to pass both, as it's a joint nomination. But I believe it was taken up as a joint House nomination or something, so I think it starts in the House. I think it would then be a majority vote in both the House and Senate would constitute the approval. And again, this is beyond anything I would speculate about, but I certainly have the fact that the Senate president abstained from the earlier vote. That's kind of this sort of tea leaf reading that some folks are engaged in at this point, but I don't have anything concrete to say about it. Yeah.
The other technical question, and just remind me, what is the last date of this legislative session? And I assume it would have to be brought up before then.
I don't know. I'm sure we can look it up here.
Okay. Don't worry,
Wednesday, May 8th.
May 8th?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
So I know I have a question. So knowing where it last was left, and we know that there was public outcry at that hearing. So where does that leave us? What are we doing?
I think that's what I'd love to talk about today, and I think it's probably appropriate to carry on some of that discussion in executive session. So folks are free to really express their views and disagree. I don't know if we have views or disagreement, but that would be that next agenda item. But I thought we should at least provide the update and the kind of general portion here.
The only other sort of question, maybe for the two people who've joined us in the public forum, our understanding of the position, obviously, Ms. Carpenter was nominated. Ms. Carpenter did not make it out of committee. If she does not, do we know what the statute says or what the process would be if she were not nominated by the assembly?
No, we don't, and I think nobody does. And I think there's a couple of options, right? So if she's approved, that we know what happens. She becomes the ombuds. If she's not approved, either because she's never sent to the General Assembly or because the General Assembly votes negatively, the statute doesn't really say what happens there. I guess presumably it starts over, but I don't think it's clear from the statute. And then the only thing, that I think is clear from the statute is that the third option, if she withdrew, the governor is meant to then nominate from the remaining two candidates.
Understood.
And, my sense is the governor doesn't want to be put in that position, and that may be, I think obviously Ms. Carpenter hasn't withdrawn.
So just to clarify, our list of three, those other two people that we put forward sent to the governor, that those names are still live in the sense that we don't, if as you said, sort of Ms. Carpenter were to withdraw, the governor would be obliged to pick from those other two.
That's how the statute reads.
Okay,
It's not like it's been judicially
Sure,
construed.
no, but that's our current.
That seems to be how it reads to me.
Understood.
Yeah,
Okay, thank you for that clarification.
sure.
Oh.
Any other discussion on the update? Go ahead.
So actually, someone just texted me and I'm not exactly sure. I'm not trying to bring this up, but is there a public section for comment in our meeting today? Someone just asked and
Is there
I think
we
someone-
can certainly, when we come back, we can, if they're able, I think I'm certainly happy to hear from anyone attending the live stream. I don't know if there's like a option to make a comment, like through a chat or something.
I don't see anything based on what I see here, but I wanted to bring that up because it was brought to my attention that, the public wanted to comment.
Sure. Well, I think to the extent we're able to facilitate that, I think that's totally fine. Yeah, there is, I guess, a distinction which we didn't appreciate before between the meetings and the hearings in terms of how much notice happens. But, I think for all of us, we're very happy to hear from anyone attending. So even though this is a meeting where there might not be specifically a public comment period on the agenda, I think I'm happy to try to accommodate that, and maybe Kirsten can figure out. Kirsten, are you there? Is there a way for the public to
I can see that people are watching. I just don't know who that is.
Are they able to join and make a comment at an appropriate time?
They would need the Zoom credentials to enter the meeting.
So we
We would have to send it.
Yeah, if we know who the people are.
I know
First of all, do I
one.
assume Barb and
Yeah, I know
Yeah.
Barbara's one.
So-
I have no problem. I just want to make sure it's a consensus that I can send the credentials to her, or if Kristen, if you can.
Yeah, I can send it. And then also, if there are others who are watching who want, people are also certainly welcome to submit stuff that we can post, But yeah,
How
I
do
can
they do
email it to
that?
her.
How do they submit?
They can email, they can submit it through the Judiciary Committee on the online submission, like we did it for the hearing in January.
Okay.
They just wouldn't choose a hearing
Barbara-
date.
I would say, yeah, if we know who, send it to Barbara, and
And I think the other may be, if I'm not mistaken, Cindy Prizio.
that would be logical.
I don't know if I have
Yeah.
Cindy's
Yeah.
email. Let me double check.
So anybody, if there's just two of you or anybody else, please feel free to email, who should we email? Kirsten, is that okay if they email you to make a
Yep.
comment, or, okay,
Yeah.
which is, hold on one second. Can you just give your email address?
Yep, my email address is Kirsten, KIRSTIN .Breiner, BREINER @cga.ct.gov.
Thanks. So anyone who wishes to comment can either send a comment to Kirsten or ask for the Zoom link, and then you should be able to join us on video in just a moment.
Hank, I do want
Oh,
to
okay.
respect Dr. Kapoor's need to sort of leave
Yes.
shortly. So before we lose our quorum,
Let's do that.
I
Yeah,
would like
can we-
to,
Yeah.
I would like to make a motion to move into executive session.
I'll second.
Agreed.
All in favor? Aye, okay.